So, bom dia, Portugal, and bom dia, Brazil. Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the sixth stage of the 2026 Carrera Cup Brazil season here at the Autódromo Internacional do Algarve. We're getting set and ready for the first round of the 2026 Porsche Endurance Challenge Brazil season here in the southern Algarve province. And of course, this Algarve circuit, established back in October 2008, is going to see 300 kilometers of racing action over the next 2.5 hours. Alex Goldschmidt with you live on the Porsche Cup Brazil YouTube channel. Thank you so much for everyone that joined us in what was an interesting time qualifying session yesterday. But today, here on Sunday, it has turned. The weather has come in to just around about half an hour north of Praia da Rocha, off of the Algarve coastline. And the circuit is saturated, which did see, before we went live here, a lot of teams deciding to go onto the wet Michelin tyres. 36 cars in total, comprising of 72 drivers, will race around this circuit. And it will last for 300 kilometers, which effectively equates to 65 laps, or a maximum time limit of 2.5 hours. The race is divided into two segments. The first one ends on lap 30. If the race is about to finish under the safety car with restart conditions, it can be extended to a maximum of 68 laps. There are 3 mandatory pit stops with specific 8-minute windows. And more to the point, it will be the case that window 1 opens after the leader completes lap number 16. Window 2 opens after lap 31. And window 3, the final pit stop phase, will be from lap 48 onwards. 8 minutes, and there is a minimum pit stop time that the teams will have to engage. The maximum will be 6 minutes. Of course, a whole host of talents have joined us here from the world of Formula E, Stock Car Pro Brazil, NASCAR, and further afield, even as far afield as GT4 Americas, with one of our returning drivers, that love this most competitive, highly popularized one-make series in Brazil. The likes of Werner Neugebauer, Alan Hellmeister, Nelson Piquet Jr., Lucas de Grassi, Gabriel Casagrande, Felipe Drugovich are here in Portugal. And this, we've even got the likes of the the man who took the 2025 Porsche Carrera Cup Asia title and the 2022 Mobile One Super Cup crown, the man from Luxembourg also, who is of Portuguese descent, Dylan Pereira, is on the grid here today. Of course, this is the part of a 3-round series that makes up 3 of the 10 stages here at Porsche Cup Brazil, under the governorship of CEO Dena Pires and his team, who have not only brought the cars to Le Mans, but he's also brought them here to the Algarve this weekend. So, of course, the cars that we will have will be the 992.1 generation cars, which will produce 485 brake horsepower, 0 to 100 kph in 3.3 kilometers and 3.3 seconds. And then we've got the 992.1s. So 510 horsepower from the flat 6 Boxer engine, 4-litre naturally aspirated engine. And of course, there is the boost function that the drivers will be able to deploy for 25 seconds before a 110-second reset cycle. Maximum of 20 boost applications can be used all the way through from qualifying yesterday afternoon to the end of this 2.5-hour, 300-kilometer scheduled race. Of course, endurance is a very different skill set to sprint racing, where it is about strategy, conserving tyres, measuring fuel, and seeing who is going to be the one that really can make the difference when it all happens. Here is the starting grid with 36 cars. Gaetano Di Mauro and Marcel Muller on the front row. They start on pole with Matheus Comparato joined by Felipe Baptista, row 2. Miguel Mariotti will start alongside Lucas Salles on row 2, with Linneo Pires and Marcus Regadas on row number 3. Portimão will be joined by Roman Zimkiewicz in the number 80 car on road number 4, completing the top 10, the 27, the Josimar Jr., and the defending overall champion from last year, Miguel Paludo. Leonardo Herman and Seba Malucelli round out road number 6. Silvio Modestone joined by the returning Werner Neugebauer, fresh off his journey to GT4 America with Rafa Racing Club a few weeks ago. It's the father-son team, Pipo and Felipe Massa on the inside of row 8, with Alceu Belmaneto and 3-time stock car champion Gabriel Casagrande. Then it's going to be the likes of Bruno Campos and Marco Pisani on row 9, rounding out the top 20, Paulo Souza and Carlos Campos, Israel Salmen and Gabriel Rowe round out row 11, Antonella Bassani and Rodrigo Melo round out row 12. After that, it's going to be Nicholas Garfinkel and Bruno Bonifacio rounding out row 13. Sadak Neta and Caio Castro will complete row 14, and rounding out the top 30 will be the number 15 car, Leonardo Sanchez, and he'll have Rafael Bernardes in the Challenge Rookie 100 alongside. Row 16, it's Luis Landi and Lucas Castellani. The penultimate row of the grid, Bertold Ramasauskas and Dilson Perez Jr. Last but by certainly no means least, the 222, Aldo Umbelino and Paulo Reales in the number 11 completes the 36 strong grid. 72 drivers here this weekend, and what a bumper of Brazilian talent. Of course, Witold Ramasauskas, originally from Lithuania, now a Brazilian resident, and proudly flies the flag as we are getting underway. It is going to be 2 formation laps of this nearly 4.7 kilometre circuit. Now, track limits. It will be strictly police at the following corners. Primera, turn 1, turn 2, turn 4, turn 5. That will be at, bit of a trip off by Carlos Campos, partnering with Tiago Vivacqua this weekend. Turn 7, which is on the run to the right-hander at Samsung. Turn 14 at Sagres, and the final corner, turn 15 at Galp. Mobile 1 Porsche 718 Cayman, lights ablaze on there. Of course, wet conditions mean that all the drivers will be on those tyres. And in the number 38 car, good friend of mine and also a man who's going to be going to the Red Bull Ring in Austria next weekend for the 4th round out of 6 for Porsche Sprint Challenge Suisse, with running alongside Gabriel Robe. These 2 drivers, that does include Eric Santos, we ride on board with Marcel Müller in the famed livery Faben Patras 544, and Felipe Baptista, another name from the Stock Car Pro Series, which has been in the news as of late. Of course, through I'm not going to go into that because there's always a lot of politics involved in motorsport, but we are here to concentrate on the racing as it happens. So Eric Santos currently running in the Open GT category, the 992.1 with ABS, running under the Porsche Track Experience by Manthey. Then we see some onboards. We've got an onboard with the father and son duo of Pipo and Felipe Massa. Miguel Paludo will be rejoined by the 2016 Carrera Cup Brazil champion Alan Hellmeister. Great to have him back in the paddock and great to have him back on the grid. Of course, Marcel Müller last year, if you might remember, he was partnering with the youngest ever Stock Car Pro Series champion in the series history, Felipe Fraga, and now his Euro Farmer RC teammate Gaetano Di Mauro was the man that in qualifying 2 yesterday really showcased how competitive they are going to be at the front end. Bearing in mind that we are going to have 3 rounds of the Endurance Challenge this year here at Portimão. Then we go to Goiânia in October, and then traditionally it's the 500 kilometers or 177 laps of the Autodromo José Carlos Pache in Interlagos in Sao Paulo. That is scheduled on November the 28th, 2026, so you can catch all of the Endurance Challenge, Carrera Cup and Sprint Challenge races all the way through the season live here on the YouTube channel. The next round on the calendar will see us head back for stage 7, and we'll be returning back across the Atlantic to Interlagos for stage 7. But again, this is a real bit This is what I love about this championship, that you've got sprints and you've got endurance all into one big melting pot. And great to see that we've got the likes of, well, two non-active Formula E drivers in the form of Nelson Piquet Jr., the inaugural Formula E champion, and along with that Felipe Massa, who at one point, well, he's been racing in Stock Car Pro. He's raced in Formula One with the likes of Sauber, Williams, and also Scuderia Ferrari, alongside Michael Schumacher and a few other drivers, including Fernando Alonso, two-time Formula One world champion. So the timer has started counting down. We are under safety car conditions, so the timer starts ticking away. And once the lights are out on the safety car here at the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve, we will be green and racing. But then the drivers have to be very, very patient. It's about getting those tyres and those brakes up to temperature. Of course, we have seen it before when Challenge and Carrera run together in these endurance rounds. But expect the unexpected. Headlights are ablaze. We're looking at temperatures of around 20, well, probably around about the 25-degree mark, maybe even a little bit less. You can see cloud cover up ahead. So who knows? Depending on which way the wind swings around the circuit and pushes those dark, menacing clouds over the track, that could depend on how the weather parlays over the course of the race distance itself. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it is the call by race direction. They have to make the decision on when we go green. And until that point, of course, safety in motorsport is the biggest priority. We all know that motorsport is dangerous. And it's every single driver that is on the grid, no matter their level, no matter what class they are in, they know the risks. And we ride a wall with the 544. And it's wonderful to see that people are watching on the main gantry, overlooking the pit straight. And this is a one-camera shot down the compression zone into turn 9. Craig Jones up the hill, and then it's a double right. But safety car still has its lights ablaze and flashing. So the lap times won't be something to speak about here at this moment, but look at this. This is what you've got to enjoy about Porsche Cup Brasil. The fans, the locals here in the Algarve region. Of course, we're not that far. We're about an hour away from Faro International Airport, about 3 hours south of Lisbon, one of the other main entry points into the country. But still, a little bit of sun starting to break through the clouds here. There's nothing like a flat six boxer engine noise, is there, folks? Very different roar from the 991.2s. In comparison to the 992.1s, of course, the boost function. 25 seconds is how long each activation is. It's quite apparent on when it's activated on the 992.1s, because the high beam in the middle of that quartet dot daytime running light that shows up on both front headlights, when they start flashing, that means the boost is engaged. So it has a 12-second response delay, and then you've got to wait a minute and 50 seconds. So bearing in mind lap times yesterday, we're in the round about the 145s, 146s top end. So you're looking at nearly a lap before, you know, you might be able to get over the start-finish line and wait a couple of seconds, then you can re-engage it again. Also, the boost cannot be used during starts and restarts until crossing the line on the subsequent lap. So this is going to be very, very crucial. Also, balance of performance is part and parcel of this. There are little weight stickers on the respective cars on this grid. And it is a combination of the balance of performance engaged by the championship that will then dictate who has what balance of performance in terms of weight on their respective cars. So bearing in mind, we're going to quickly talk through. So 47.5 kilos on the pole sitters. Same for Commentator and Felipe Baptista. Miguel Mariotti now finally a Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil podium trophy winner as of last week, 2 in a row for the man who also has had sprint challenge success, also on 47.5 kilos. Silvio Moristoni and Mateus Machado in the number 2 Carrera Sport entry. They have 0 kilos of ballast. Then you have to look at a little bit further down the grid. So the likes of Carlos Campos and Tiago Vivacqua, 17.5 kilos. So basically you take the combined BOP together and then you divide it by 2. Pipo and Felipe Massa, that is going to be 20 kilos. So Father bringing the biggest amount of ballast as in comes the safety car and the opening round of the 2026 C6 Bank Porsche Endurance Challenge Brasil is green here at Portimão. And it's the rundown with 2 hours and 24.5 minutes left to go. Here comes Lucas Salles to the inside of Miguel Mariotti. Meantime, a little bit further back. Oh, there's going to be a spin. And that is the 37. Werner Neugebauer goes around, I'm afraid. And along with that is going to be Leonardo Herman in the 23. Looks like the temperatures have gone the wrong way for those drivers. They're down towards the back end of the field now. Big old spinners now. Mariotti to the outside here at Torre Vip at turn 5. On Mateus Comparato, Lucas Salles, the man who won Carrera Cup Brazil Race 2 last week, is now charging at them. And then right behind them, well, it's okay. Right, car 15 now has been pinged. Leonardo Sanchez has been given a drive-through penalty by race control. That is for safety car infringement. Down through Craig Jones, it's side by side. That was between more than likely Marcos Regadas, or no, it was a little bit further back. Oh, and that's Caio Castro. That's coming up the hill out of turn 8 at Samsung. Let's have a look at the replay. Is it going to be an assist? Well, there's car 15. Oh, bang, straight away. That's the car that's just been hit with drive-through penalty. Oh dear, it's gone horribly wrong rather quickly for Leonardo Sanchez. Looks like the steering arm has been broken and damage for Caio Castro. The right side rear looks to be... Oh, that car's crabbing. That car's crabbing big time. So Caio Castro's going to have to park that. Now, there is an opportunity where the drivers can opt for a replacement vehicle. We saw that last year when Daniel Neumann and Cecilia Rebello tangled into Lagos. As there goes Marcos Regadas to the outside, finding confidence in the wet in comparison with the number 17. Oh dear, right, there's been an incident with car, car 37 is going to get a drive-through penalty, and that is for the incident with car 23. So let's have a look at the replay of the start. So Marcel Muller nice and neatly ahead of Comparato. Mariotti's got Salles to the inside, and then we're going to see, there's Miguel Paludo, and then there's going to be, oh well, I'm not at all. It's a bit of a difficult one to call that because car 23 cut across the front of, and that was Leonardo Herman, right in front of Werner Neugebauer. And Neugebauer could have turned to the right a little bit there. I can't really give an... it's difficult to say, but then you can see, you can understand as well. There was another turnaround there, but then we had the further dramas as Leonardo Sanchez into pit lane. I think that car is probably going to be retired on the spot. Meantime, look at this. Marcos Regadas reveling in the wet conditions. And now he's up the hill. He's past Miguel Mariotti. So now Marcos Regadas is the fastest driver on the circuit. They head down the hill. Miguel Mariotti being closed in on by Lucas Salles. Roman Zinkovic being closed in on by defending champion from last year, Miguel Paludo. The first ever man that took a podium in Brazilian flag colours in NASCAR, became a trendsetter. Saw the likes of Nelson Piquet Jr. A few years ago, decided to move over to NASCAR racing. But the track looks to me like it might be evolving. As we've got a nice little battle here. That involves a few cars, including the 51 Carrera Sport entry that has got Israel Salman, and he's right behind Seba Malucelli. Look at this. Now this man, for those that don't know their endurance racing in Brazil, look at that move from Bruno Bonifacio through on the number 51 car. That's the move and a change for what is going to be 15th position overall. But that is going to basically put Bonifacio into P3 in the class that he is running. So again, just wonderful to see the breadth of talent. That's P3 for Bruno Bonifacio Luis Souza in the 39 car, now up to P3 in class. And there is the D4U number 99, piloted by the 20-year-old mentored by Pia Figueiredo, Antonella Bassardi. And I'm really excited to see what the future holds for that young lady, as she is really getting her elbows out. Dives to the inside here at turn 11 through Portimão. And Antonella Bassardi gets through on Israel Salman. Here comes Carlos Campos partnering with Tiago Vivacqua. He's not that far behind as they dive through into turn number 13. Salman shuts the door. Campos now has another opportunity as they will go down the hill. Now it's through Sagres, down the hill into Galp at turn 15. New fastest lap of the race by Matheus Comparato in the 118 car. And also, Alceu Felmaneto. Here comes Miguel Paludo. He's closing in on Lineu Pires in the 888 car. Mapfre Evoira car. You can see Miguel Paludo, so much experience for the man from Rio Grande do Sul, the 42-year-old. As here comes Lightning McQueen, Alceu Felmaneto to the inside at Lagos, and he gets through. That's a place made. And that would have been on, I think, Jose Moreneto. And with them has gone Pipo Massa, the 16-year-old son of ex-F1, ex-Formula E, and also current Stock Car Pro Series driver, Dad Felipe. Again, Porsche Endurance Challenge Brazil does not fail to entertain, as Miguel Paludo ahead of Lineu Pires. And look at this, Roman Zimkovic has got to the outside coming out of turn 8. There's an attempt by Alceu Felmaneto, but Pipo Massa quick on the offensive. Down the hill he goes. The 19 through for position. That was a great move, well timed by Pipo Massa, and he's going to get through. He's going to try through here at the top of the hill, and he gets his elbows out. Alceu Felmaneto round the outside at turn 9. Oh, the big moves. They are not afraid to put it all on the line here as Roman Zimkovic is left standing still amidst the tumbleweeds here in the Algarve. Great work by Pipo Massa and Alceu Felmaneto, really putting the moves on. And look at this, Jose Moreneto in the number 45 car is closing in on Roman Zimkovic. He knows he needs to get moves expedited to keep with Pipo Massa for the lead in Carrera Rookie, as we are now 59 laps remaining on the counter. We've got about 10 to go until the first pit stop window opens. Now, bearing in mind, with regards to the pit stops, they have to serve a minimum time. There is a, within the regulations of Porsche Cup Brazil, as here comes Pipo Massa. Oh, looks for a late dive to the inside of Lineu Pires. Pires says at Torre Vip, turn 5. No, Pipo. I'm not going to let you get past that easily, my friend. But the thing is that it's nice to see the Massa family now with Pipo and Felipe having an opportunity to race together as, oh, it's nearly 3 wide. One car, that's the 78. That front headlight is loose. And that is the Enrico Pedrosa car, which has got Luis Landi, so that's picked up damage. And that could be a potential hazard. That's not going to help. That's going to really help the aerodynamics. That's not going to help the aerodynamics at all, because that car was a little bit further up than where it was. Well, it's a little bit further down than where it started, so that's not going to help them at all. Again, I don't really need to say much when that camera shot comes into view, but Alceu Felmanetu gets through on Lineu Pires. So that is a change for 8th overall. So Werner Neugebauer has served the drive-through penalty. Werner now running with Rafa Racing Club in the Toyota Supra Evo 2 with Rafa Racing Club in GT4 America. So it's good to have him back. Lucas de Grassi, this is probably going to be one of the final times, as recently bouncing off the back of a recent win in this season of the 2025-2026 Formula E, the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship for Lowly Yamaha under the governorship of team boss Fred Espinosa. Lucas de Grassi, probably one of the final times, or probably the final opportunity we will ever see him in a Porsche Carrera Cup car here at Portimão. Had the pleasure of commentating on Lucas, funnily enough, in German. Back in the 2023 Sabaki Prix at the Berlin Temple of Disused Airport as the German-speaking circuit commentator. But it's really good to see that well, Lucas has been a busy man in the last 7 days. He's been racing at Shanghai, wins the race, then takes the trip to Goodwood, drives the old Gen 1 Formula E car. Of course, he was the test and development driver when Alejandro Agag decided to bring something different when it came to single-seater racing. But again, by the wonderful drone shots we've got here, heading into turn 8 at Samsung. Oh, a little bit of close for comfort there between 2 vehicles, as now it's going to be over the compression zone. That is Sadak later, and well, he's got to his outside. That's the 911, that's the 311 of Witold Ramazauskas. And it was Leonardo Herman that Sadak later was trying to go wheel to wheel with. But there has been a drama because, well, Eric Santos in the number 38 car, partnering with Gabriel Robe, who at one point a couple of seasons ago ran in Stock Car Pro with the Walking Gara outfits. It looks like at this moment, the way things are standing, well, the lead now with Marcel Muller in the 544. Fabian Patrus, that very clear livery that we see whenever this man is at the sharp end of the field. He currently now leads the Carrera Cup Brasil, heading into stage 7, and that'll be on the weekend of the 5th and 6th of September at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in Sao Paulo. And I'm really looking forward to see how explosive the partnership is between him and Gaetano Di Mauro. There's Marcos Regueras. He's had a really, really good run so far. As fast as another race, oh, Pipo Massa, 149, 217, and he's within striking distance. Oh, get this, he's closing time on Miguel Paludo in the number 7 car, the brand livery vehicle. So the partnership of Paludo and Hellmeister. There we see Marcos Regueras closing in on Mateus Comparato. And there is car number 8, the Endurance Challenge Brazil variation of Lightning McQueen. Well, it should be Lightning Feldman in this case, or Lightning Casagrande, depending on who's behind the wheel. But we've got this great battle here. Lineu Pires stuck between the middle of Bruno Bonifacio. Bonifacio has been on a tear at the minute. The man from Endurance Challenge Brazil normally runs in Mercedes machinery, but he's adapted quickly to the Porsche Cup machinery at the moment, as Lineu Pires having to start to defend. And that is going to be from, that is car 80. Roman Zinkovic partnering up with Nelson Piquet Jr., the son of three-time F1 world champion Nelson Piquet. I still remember his dad's rivalry back in the mid-1980s at Cannon Williams with the Honda power plant alongside Il Leone and Nigel Mansell. Those were the days. I'm showing my age a little bit now, but Matheus Comparato has responded to Pipo Massa's fastest lap of the race and has just gone 9/1000ths quicker on a 1:49.206. We are on lap 9 of this race so far. So after this, we'll have 55 laps to go. So, as I said, 300 kilometres, 65 laps, or 2.5 hours. So, whichever comes first. We're already just over the first 20 minutes of this race. And it continues onwards at the Autodromo International do Algarve here in Portimão. And a big warm welcome to everyone that's just joining us on the official YouTube channel. I have to give a shout out to our colleagues on the Portuguese stream, Luc Monteiro, Tiago Mendonça, and pit reporter, and the lady who's always in front of the camera for the Porsche Cup Brazil social medias, Cris. Great to see their work as exemplary as always. But look at this, Pipo Massa versus the overall defending champion, and he's through on Miguel Paludo. That's a great move from the 16-year-old. He's definitely been picking up some tactics from his old man, as Pipo. We'll see Felipe in the race car. But it also depends on when the drivers decide to make a change. Israel Salmen, in the meantime, is just putting the fastest lap of the race down in 14th on lap 10 of the race, 1:48.865. And look at this, Pipo Massa passing and pulling a gap over Miguel Paludo. A little bit of alliteration with a lot of P's at the beginning of the words there. But still, that is rather exciting. This is the first full season of Pipo Massa running in Syntops. And it's great that we're going to see a replay here. Now, here is the manoeuvre down into Torrevit, turn 5. And that was easy, like taking candy off a baby. Pipo Massa puts a number on Miguel Paludo. I'm sure that Miguel Paludo might be smiling about the fact that, yes, okay, a 16-year-old's done a number on me. But when you think about it, Miguel Paludo is more than old enough to be Pipo Massa's old man. However, there's a lot of experience, and you can see a lot of drivers watching on. This is really good to see. Really good to see the amount of drivers that have come over the Atlantic from South America and further afield to join us. Alex Santos, in the meantime, has been spending time with the family in Italy. Again, look, you're just seeing how close and competitive, as here we have an opportunity for Antonella Bassani. She's closing in on Lineu Pires, and she's going to look to possibly stick her nose up the inside, but she's got Israel Salman to the rear of her car. Antonella Bassani currently co-hosts the new F1 segment on Globo, Brazilian channel, for Formula One. Funnily enough, Caio Castro, who unfortunately was involved in that lap 1 incident with Leonardo Sanchez. That car has been pulled into the pits, as has Leonardo Sanchez's number 15, which looked like its steering had broken. Caio Castro's car was crabbing. Antonella Bassani looking to put a little bit of distance between herself and Israel Salmen. But if she does get through, as they go up the hill through Craig Jones. So, pit stop window opening in 4 laps' time. Lap 12 completed, 4 to go until the first 8-minute pit stop window is open. Now, coming to these pit stops, quite interesting. So, all the Carrera cars will have will have to pit for 6 minutes. Silvio Monestroni and Mateus Machado in the number 2 car, Carrera Sport. 5 minutes 50 they have to stay in the pit lane. 5 minutes 57 for Carlos Campos and Tiago Ribacqua. 6 minutes for Leonardo Herman and Cesar Ramos. There are some other teams, so they've got to hit that minimum pit stop window time. If they are under by a second, there's an additional 3 seconds that's going to be added on to the next pit stop time. Or if the final pit stop window has been reached and gone past, then what will happen, that then becomes an end of race additional time penalty. But what a race this has been so far. Pipo Massa absolutely flying at the moment is the number 19. And on lap 12 out of 65. New fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 48.530. And he's closing that gap to Miguel Magliotti in the number 21 car. Antonello Bassani finally gets through on Linneo Perez, and at the moment with 12 laps of 65 completed, make that now very shortly 13 laps, as Marcelo Muller will cross the stripe. He and Gaetano Di Maro lead the way. And then in challenge, well, in terms of the challenge sports side of things, it's going to be I'm just looking down my list at the moment. There's a lot to take in here, folks, so bear with. Carrera Sports, it's Linneo Perez. In Carrera Rookie, it's Pipo Massa. And then you have to look a little bit further down the order when it comes to Challenge Sports and Challenge Rookie. And at the moment, it is car 311 in Challenge Rookie. That is the partnership of Witold Ramazauskas and Victor Mahler in the 311. They lead overall in Challenge, running P25 overall. Nicholas Garfinkel partnering with Victor Thierry in the number 10 car. Sadak Data leads in Challenge in the number 66 car. So already 2 cars that have been in the pits for over 19 minutes. I don't think they're going to be getting out. Possibly, well, actually, they have got 1 car. So Leonardo Sanchez has passed over the number 15 car to Diego Nunes. So that car was in the pits for 19.25 minutes. And is 11 laps down off of the leaders. 2 laps to go as we're on lap 14 out of 65. We're hitting the 28-minute mark. But still, of course, the more regular drivers in this series will normally take the brunt of the work when it comes to how the strategy will play out. Bruno Bonifacio, look at this, number 39, currently running 9th place at the moment, and he's done some great overtakes as Bonifacio at the moment. 1 minute 48.379. Batman has got endurance knowledge for spades, and he is using it to the maximum of his advantage. And look at this, down the start finish straight here at Portimão, dry line on the left hand side of the start finish straight, and here we go. Pipo Massa has caught up to Miguel Mariotti in the number 21 car. This is the battle for P5 overall, and a late dive, but Pipo Massa has to back out of it, throw the anchors out of the back end of the number 19. And at this point, Miguel Mariotti holding on through the left-hand kink here at turn 6, into the right-hand kink that will bring us into the braking zone for turn 8 here at Samsung. What can I say? Pipo Massa, since seeing him in action just last week, despite having a DNF in race 1, his first one of the season, he is definitely showcasing as they're getting held up a little bit. That's the 222 in front, Eldo and Bellino. And this is going to allow Pipo Massa to have the opportunity. Down the hill they go again. Up the rise. And Pipo Massa to the inside. That's through at turn 13. Mariotti swats across the front of Massa. And that is very, very close today as we hit half an hour on the timer, counting out of 2.5. We are not that far away from the first pit stop window, which will open for 8 minutes. And all teams will have to make 3 pit stops in this race. That's part of the sporting regulations and have to hit their minimum pit stop time. There's Mariotti again, just trying to, big loss there by Pipo Massa. And all over his back bumper like a rash, there is Miguel Paludo. Through out of turn 3 at Lagos and up the hill through the sweeping left, through turn 4. So when Marcel Muller crosses the line, the pit stop window will officially be open for 8 minutes. There is the number 21 car. And that is Miguel Mariotti. Pipo Massa now on the boost. The headlights flashing. So he's got 25 seconds of an additional 30 horsepower. Can this help him catch up? Well, it's now deactivated. They activate it for 25 seconds over the crest of the hill. Marcel Muller very shortly will cross the line. That is now pit stop window open for the first time. The countdown begins. So the teams have to pit within that 8-minute window. So if you make it into the pits before that 8-minute window closes, you are fine. You can still carry out your stop. But how soon will Marcel Muller dive into pit lane? Not quite yet. He's going to carry on. And sometimes the strategy call will be run as far and deep as you can, as we've got another Porsche that's lost a headlight. That's the car that is in front. Janela Aberta, that means pit lane open. For those wondering what that is at the top of the timing tower. So the good thing about this is allowing me to understand a bit more Portuguese. So Miguel Paludo, Alceu Felmaneto, Antonella Bassani, Ruman Simkovic, Seba Malucelli, Eric Santos, Dilson Perez Jr., Rafael Bernardes. Okay, there is Mateus Comparato out of the car. So Felipe Baptista will go in. Cars will have to be pushed back. It's a bit like the old Le Mans starts. They have to bring them in at a diagonal. And there we go, the number 8 car. And in will jump. Right, there we see a Blau Motorsport set of overalls there. So the driver ID is digitally recognised by an RFID scanner at the end of the pit lane. So once the driver has that scanned, so Felipe Baptista takes over from Mateus Comparato. Gabriel Casagrange will take over in the number 8 Lightning McQueen edition Porsche 992.1 Cup car. He'll take over from Alceu Felmaneto, so the 3-time Stock Car Pro Series champion from 21, 23 and 24 will now get his chance to be back behind the wheel. But Marcel Muller going deep into the opening pit stop window. 5.5 minutes pretty much to go until that pit stop window closes. Eric Santos in the pits will hand over to Gabriel Robe. And then the number 91 of Dilson Perez Jr. will hand over to Marco Corsi. They've got a 7.5 kilo ballast. And there's Cris Diaz having a quick chat with Mateus Comparato. Oh dear, right, car 22 has just been hit with a drive-through penalty for speeding in pit lane. So 50 kilometers an hour is the pit lane speed limit, which is 30 miles an hour. They were traveling at 52.7. So that is going to be a drive-through penalty for, as I said, car 22. That is, that is Danilo Dirani. and Caio Castro. There's car 2. There's going to be change of foot between Silvio Moristoni and Mateus Machado. He's going to jump in. Now, refueling is also part and parcel of endurance racing. And unlike the 992 GT3R cars for sports car racing, there is no quick fuel side of things. So there you go. Marcel Muller on the boost, coming through out of Galp. He's still leading. He can still, I think, maybe go for another 2 laps. So he's running at a 1:4. His last lap was nearly 1 minute 49. So I'd say 2 more laps, then Marcel Muller will then hand over. There's the handover there for the number 12. Croma Bilindagen's car. The pairing of Marco Pisani and Renan Guerra. Guerra ready and waiting to get into the car. So the bonnet goes down. Marcos Regadas is still out there and still on the lead lap. Pipo Massa has pitted, so has Bruno Bonifacio, Jose Moreneto. They round out the top 3 in Carrera Rookie. And there is the number 39 car. What a great job by Bruno Bonifacio. As there we see Felipe Baptista, Blau Motorsport colours. Probably would have recognised those colours in previous years of Stock Car Pro with the likes of Felipe Baptista, Attila Abreu, amongst others over the past few seasons. But a lot of activity. We are just over 2 minutes and 40 left to go. But they have to serve their maximum pit stop time. And at the minute, you're probably looking at the likes of Felipe Baptista, Alan Hellmeister, Gabriel Casagrange, Wagner Pontes. And, well, it is now going to be the time that father takes over from the son. A lot of activity down in the pit lane. Marcel Muller now on the verge of completing lap number 20 of the race. Is now in the pits. So first gear, 50 kph is the pit lane speed limit here in Portimão. You should know that from having been here earlier in the year with Porsche Sprint Challenge Suisse. I'll be heading over to the Red Bull Ring for their 4th round of the season this coming Thursday. So car 91. Yep, that was a nice clean pit stop there for Dilson Perez Jr. and Marco Gozzi. Their minimum pit stop time, 5 minutes 57. Total time, 5 minutes 59.276. And the good thing is, when the pit stops show green on my timing screen, that means those pit stops are fine. If they are in the red, race control will then be taking clear and significant notice. So the maximum pit stop, as there we see Pipo Massa speaking to Cris Diaz. Quite funny with regards to when the Carrera Cup contingent went to Le Mans under the Race the World hashtag that Porsche Cup Brasil has engaged for its 2026 season. They said, "Welcome, Professor Pipo Massa." And it was quite funny seeing quite a few drivers trying to speak their best French. And there was Pipo Massa. He was classed as the teacher at just the age of 16. So Gaetano Di Mauro waiting patiently. The car is on the air jacks at the moment. Good thing is that there you see the good old... It's like going to the local petrol station. Yep, just open the bonnet. We'll get the fuel in just a second, sir. Did you want premium or regular unleaded? Very different to what I see when endurance races happen for the Porsche Sprint Challenge Suisse. It's bonnets up, and then there's it's basically like a big flight case that comes out of pit lane, a ground wire that then gets connected to the inside of the front subframe. just underneath the bonnet. And then two pipes that get connected. One making sure there's no air in the system, and the other one dispensing fuel, which is highly pressurized. But right, so we have now concluded the first pit stop window. The next one will open on lap 31. That's when the leader completes it. So now leading the way, well, according to the live timing at the moment, is effectively Miguel Mariotti in the 21 car, partnered with Rafael Martins. Now also with regards to the number 12 car, Renan Guerra, regular across Porsche Cup stock car, Brasileiro de Marcas Machinery. Also, Felipe Baptista's brother Vitor also races with brother Felipe in the Stock Car Pro Series. Marcos Gomes, who is also on the grid this weekend, man who won the GP Toyota 100 at Velocitat, the home of Acelerados. Of course, we've got no Rubens Barrichello or no Gerson Campos here this weekend for the endurance round. Gerson Campos now comfortably leading the series after race win number 2 last weekend in Sprint Challenge Brazil was taken away due to a post-race 5-second time penalty heading to Daniel Neumann, who crossed the line on the road, but unfortunately for him, race control found him to have exceeded track limits too many times. Now, with regards to track limits here for this round, out of 3, as Gaetano Di Mauro is still stationary in his in the 544 Fabien Patra's car. They're checking the tyre pressures on the Michelin tyres. They want to make sure he's at his optimum. Brand new stickered tyres on that car. If a team has hits 5 track limit track limit warnings, what will happen is that on incident number 6, when it comes to exceeding track limits, the team will then get a 3-second time penalty per violation, and that will be added onto the next mandatory pit stop, or added in addition to the final race time. Okay, right. So, oh dear. I'm sorry to say this, the bearer of bad news. Car 15 has just been given a drive-through penalty for the incident, and that was with car 22. So drive-through penalty being thrown their way. So looks like we are, there we go. Lights up the rear tyres, Gaetano Di Mauro. And it's going to be good here. The good thing is it's from pit lane entry to pit lane exit time. So that is the total transfer from coming in off of turn 15 at Galp and then taking this long rumble down the pit lane. Gaetano Di Mauro is going to be very careful that he does not exceed that pit lane speed limit. And when he hits the cones, which will be now, engages full power to the 510 brake horsepower flat 6 boxer engine. We've got one car around the outside. That was the number 15 car, Carrera rookie. That's Leonardo Sanchez and Diego Nunes. That is the car that I was wondering who earlier on was missing the front right headlight. So that car has got to serve a drive-through penalty. If they don't, then race control will not look too favourably on that. So there is car 10. Victor Thierry taking over after the first round of pit stops from Nicholas Garfinkel in the number 10 Porto liveried car. Just ahead, that is the number 2 car, Diaz Machado, having taken over from Silvio Mastoroni. Who is in Annette de Jong, who is in car 25. Dylan Pereira, ladies and gentlemen, has now taken over from Paulo Souza. as we did see Luis and Paolo come to blows last week. Unfortunately, and that was going through into Torrevit when Luis ended up doing a dive bomb. So Dylan Pereira, the 2022 Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup and 2025 Porsche Carrera Cup Asia Champion, is with us here this weekend. It's great to have a man of that caliber here with us this weekend. Here's the number 70 car, Rafael Suzuki, a long time Stock Car Pro Series champion. It's always great to see him back in other machinery as well. And Luis Landi in the number 78 car is handed back over to Enrico Pedrosa, whose dad has followed me on Instagram this weekend, this week. So now I've been keeping an eye on what's been going on. There's been a lot. What I have to love about the Porsche Cup Brazil social media is the way that they announced all the pairings for this weekend. Now there's an entry point that goes underneath the tunnel. Then you've got this big ramp, and you turn left to go into the paddock here at the Autodromo do Algarve. There's a barrier that it's basically like when you go on one of those toll roads, and when they ask you to put your ticket in, you get one of those barriers that close down. Well, it showed a pairing on that. That's what I love about social media. You can use like the locality or the bits and pieces of the track. They were I think for Pipo and Felipe Massa. You know what? The man's still got it in him. And that was Felipe Massa. Alan Hellmeister was just being served a little bit of humble pie, I think, there by Felipe. As Alan Hellmeister dives to the inside. That's Rafael Martins. So Felipe Massa really starting to get a move on. He's pulling away from Alan Hellmeister. Up the hill they go. And you might just think that, Felipe and... oh dear. Right, Alan Hellmeister has engaged boost. So those headlights now starting to flash quite significantly. They will do for around about the next 20 seconds or so. And then it's 1 minute 50 second cool down or lockout time before the next use of that can be facilitated. They've got a maximum of 20 boost usage. 20 uses of the boost function, which gives that 510 horsepower a little bit of an increase to 540 horsepower. So 30 horsepower added in addition. It can be used as an attacking and a defensive countermeasure. So, Dimaro and Muller lead overall. The father and son duo, Massa and Massa, lead Carrera rookie. And then it's car 51, Gustavo Zanon and Israel Salman that lead the way in what is Carrera Sport. Landi and Pedrosa lead Challenge Rookie. Carboni and Lete ran out lead in Challenge, and Garfinkel and Thierry lead in Challenge Sport. Here we go, Gaetano Timaro engaging to boost, because look who's not that far behind him. Felipe Baptista is on the charge. The two Stock Car Pro Series rivals, first and second. Felipe Drugovic is about 5.5 seconds. Dylan Pereira and Annette de Jong has just put in the fastest lap of the race, and it's a 1 minute 47.026 for the man from Luxembourg by way of Portugal. Recently was in action at the Banksend Grand Prix with Phantom Global for the Porsche AR Box Carrera Cup Asia season. We've just got quite a few fast pedalers in there with the likes of Finland's Marcus Amand. I still remember when that young man was running under French national flag, but part of the family's Finnish, part of the family's French. So, but still has that little bit of Gallic accent to his English whenever he speaks on camera. This is what you want to see. You want to see two rivals from another series duking it out in equal machinery. Through, down the compression zone, up the hill. And the nose ducks down. Here we go with car 14. Tiago Vivacqua to the inside of Gustavo Zanon and gets through. And a little bit further ahead, well, Roman Zimkovic is now being replaced by Nelson Piquet Jr. And Beto Greci now gets through. And that is on car 51. So Gustavo Zanon, who was leading in Carrera Sport, now finds himself down the order a little bit, as that's a brilliant move. Tiago Vivacqua gets through. That's another position gain. Well, that's on a car a little bit further back. That's going to be one of the Carrera cars. Challenge rookie cars. Marco Corsi. That's car 91. Again, Nelson Piquet Jr. He's a dab hand. The man born in Heidelberg in Germany, same birthplace as Michael Fassbender, who joined the Porsche Cup Brasil pilgrimage to the home of the Grand Prix d'Urance at Le Mans, the biggest sports car race in the world, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, where Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil took centre stage as one of the support categories, and two 45-minute races provided us with two winners in the form of Jeff Giassi and Pietro Fantin, who will be back in action for the next round of Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil at Interlagos. Obviously, there's going to be the customary summer break for this series, and also the team at Denier Motorsport, who helped to prepare all of these cars. There's a big amount of personnel that work hard behind the scenes at this moment. Right, well, it seems like there's still further problems for the pairing of Nunes and Sanchez in car 15. That car is now in for another pit stop. But great to see some people watching from the top of the grandstands on the left-hand side. There's Marcel Muller speaking with Cris Diaz, talking about his first stint behind the wheel of the 544. So the man now currently leading Carrera Cup Brazil, heading into the next round of the series. As I said, it's going to be around about 6 weeks before the series gets back underway with Stage 7. On the 5th and the 6th of September. Really good battle here between Rafael Martins and Alan Helmeister. Car 21 versus car 7. Battle for P5 in Carrera. Battle for P6 overall. We ride on board with the number 7 car. That's something you don't see very often on the inside of a stereo. But look at that. Rafael Martins to the inside. It was off of Portimão at turn 11. He gets through on the 2016 Carrera Cup Brazil champion. And again, it's all about playing the long game. This is a long race. We've still got 40 laps to go. We are 6 laps away from our next round of pit stops, which will start when more than likely car 544, piloted by Gaetano Di Mauro, crosses the start-finish line. Only then, when the 8-minute window starts counting down, Felipe Massa on the boost. as was Alan Hellmeister. That's coming down. But again, Hellmeister getting very, very racy. But that's going to open the door. Well, that is car 38. I think 2 is outside, and that is the pairing of Gabriel Robe, who's taken over from Eric Santos. Santos had a little bit of a drama in the early stages of the race. Now, Eric Santos he's quite familiar with endurance racing over the past year and a half. Raced, look at this, Gabriel Robe is saying to Alan Hellmeister, no, you're not putting me a lap down, mate. Even though they are in Carrera rookie, Gabriel Robe and Eric Santos have transferred from the Challenge division last year, where they raced in 992.1. Now they've gone into Carrera rookie for 2026. And I kind of understand that, because last year it was Eric Santos' first full year as a driver in competition. And, he started understanding. I mean, Eric himself, a tech entrepreneur, in the off-season got married. He's got a wonderful family, and it's always nice to see him and the family whenever they're in the paddock. It's great to see some great drivers. We've even had this year racing in the opening round of Porsche Sprint Challenge Suisse, ready for the GT Europe Cup, Open Europe Cup campaign. Nelson Monteiro, last year's Masters champion, Nelson Marcondes, who have partnered up, and they took 2 podiums. They decided, this is just like being at home. We're going to do the endurance race as well. It was great to have them in the paddock, and I managed to have the opportunity to interview the pair of them. And I'm keeping in touch with Nelson Marcondes. I am pleading with him and Nelson Monteiro to once again just get on board and do another round. Hopefully, depending on their GT Cup, Open Europe, their GT Open Europe Cup campaign comes to fruition. So they are running in the same generation cars that they would have been running in last year, the 992.1 GT3 Cup car. Of course, there's going to be a big shift next year, folks, because not only we might now, it's obviously we haven't heard anything official from Dene Perez and his team here at Porsche Cup Brasil, but of course the 992.2 Cup car will be coming to Carrera Cup and Sprint Challenges all across the world from next year. They've already started populating, and some championships have already announced on their relevant social medias in the wider Porsche Motorsport family that people that have the 992.2 Cup car can utilise it. So, of course, what we could then see is that the 992.1 car becomes Challenge, and then the 992.2 ends up becoming Carrera. Right, replay coming up here, and it's car 12 versus car 39. Then Anguera versus Luis Souza, and Anguera gets through. That is for P3, as oh dear. Looks like Martaz was getting very close to the rear bumper of Felipe Massa. And that is going to lose them a little bit of time. Felipe Massa trying to get through on car 2. That is Mateus Machado. And he puts some distance between himself and Rafael Martaz in the number 21. And look at this for a drag race up the hill. All I can say is Fabio Carboni just getting his elbows out well and truly, as if to say, well, he's actually, I think, battling away with position with Mateus Machado and Gabriel Roll, and that's for 25th overall. So next time around, okay. Oh dear. Now this is going to hurt because car 80 has just been hit with a 10-second time penalty from race control. So this is going to hurt the path of the pair of Zimkovic and PK Jr. Right. Right, so 10-second penalty for car 80 at the next pit stop for slowing down and leaving the pit lane. Oh dear. So not exactly what they will want to have, as we are 3 laps from hitting the second pit stop window of the race here today. As that is dramas. That is for the sole Carrera, the sole Challenge Sport car. That is car 10. Victor Thierry behind the wheel. That is rolling back down the hill. Thank goodness everyone is able to get out of the way. Could that bring out a safety car? If that car is stationary, let's have a look. He's going to come out, loses all drive. Oh dear, there's no smoke, so it could be gearbox related. So maybe Victor Thierry's grabbing a box full of neutrals. And that car is stationary, that is still on a live circuit. So that will mean yellow flags will be activated at that point on the track. That is coming out of Torrevieja. Marcel Muller, the race, Gaetano Di Maro making his way down. And Felipe Bautista has been closing that gap down to what is now 9/10 of a second. So yellow flags heading into turn 5. I have to say, Victor Thierry using very good awareness and knowledge, and he's used the momentum of the car to roll it backwards down the hill. So that means it's now on the inside grass of turn 5. This is the battle for the overall race lead. As next time around, we'll have 1 lap to go. Before we have the pit stop window opened for the second time of this race. So that is a real shame. The car that brought success to Nicholas Garfinkel in both Challenge Sport races this time last week for the third stage of Porsche Sprint Challenge Brasil, presented by C6 Bank, who have been the title sponsor for a multitude of years now. So we are 2.5 laps away from half distance. And now that is the end of the first half of this race, as declared by race control from Direção de Prova. So the end of the first segment, so 35 laps to go. Next time around it will be pit stop window open for another 8 minutes. So a total of 24 minutes of total pit stop windows being open out of the 2.5 hours. So less than a fifth of the total time. And I have to say this, Dylan Pereira doing an absolutely brilliant job in the number 25 car. That car now up into 19th position overall. More to the point, that is P5 in Carrera Rookie. Also another man on the move, taking over from Werner Neugebauer, Lucas Di Grassi in the number 37. running in the Ituran Mob liveried car, the cyan blue and black car. Of course, Ituran, one of the latest firms in Brazil, providing mobility solutions for people in general, and quite interesting to see on the social media the two-seater electric car that came rumbling down pit lane with Mr. De Grassi behind the wheel. Right, pit stop window is open again for another 8 minutes. And the good thing with these 3 pit stops, so 7 3/4 minutes left to go until the pit stop window is closed for the second penultimate time of this race. And still Gaetano Di Mauro and Felipe Baptista battling it out for the race lead. They're making their way up the hill through turn 6. Now the good foresight by Vito Thierry in the number 10 Porto Challenge Sport car used the momentum of the car rolling down the hill to bring it to a safe place on the track. So all that has helped in regards to race control is for them not to put out a safety car, but to have localised yellows. So will we see the strategy? I mean, look at this. Felipe Baptista closing in on Gaetano Di Mauro. They're going to come across the line very shortly. Down the hill they go. Baptista on the boost. That will mean we complete lap number 32 of this race, as the finish line is slightly staggered back, about 280 metres behind. About 250 or so metres behind the start line itself, where the gantry is. As look at this, Baptista really starting to put the brightness. Look at this, sunshine beating down from up above and to the inside at turn 3 at Lagos. And Felipe Baptista now becomes the new race leader here on lap 33 out of 65. Great move by Baptista, timed it perfectly, dived to the inside late at turn 3. And Gaetano Di Mauro has got to fight him back. Up the hill they go. They've got, I think, car 100. Let's have a look at this replay. And look at this, textbook from Baptista. Saw the window open, took full advantage of the situation, got his elbows out, a little bit of a rub. And he said to Gaetano Di Mauro, saying, see you later. But look at that up the hill. That was very close. Baptista sideways as they get through on car 100. And that is Giuliano Raucci behind the wheel of that car. There are 2 cars that are quite similarly liveried, and that is the 311. Victor Muller, who at the moment is currently sitting second in Challenge Rookie. But, well, looks like it might be game over for the pairing of Leonardo Sanchez in the number 15 car this week, partnered with Diego Nunes. That car has been stationary. 3rd pit stop, 22 minutes. But here we go. Felipe Baptista now pulls into pit lane. Gaetano Di Mauro now inherits the race lead once again. Rafael Suzuki. Is he going to come into the pit lane? As we see the wonderful drone shot here. Car 118 will be handed back to Matteo Scomparato. So who else is in pit lane? Pedrosa. Yeah, looks like we're going to see a big range of pit stops. So car 14. Oh, and there is, oh no. No, I can't believe it. Felipe Massa. He's stopped on the circuit. Oh, I cannot believe it. The XF1 driver finished runner-up to Lewis Hamilton in 2008, winning the Interlagos Grand Prix on his home track in Brazil, missing out on the title by a handful of points. And Felipe Massa on the radio is going through what needs to be done. He's trying to start it, but that is again another DNF for that car. Again, another car that's just lost complete drive, and it's at the top of the hill. That's coming through out of turn number 11 through Portimão. And yeah, there is absolutely no drive. Pipo Massa had a retirement on race 1. That is now on the outskirts of turn number 13. So local yellow flags. I cannot believe it. Oh, drama hits the sun last Saturday afternoon, and trouble strikes twice for that car as car 19 comes to a stop. And that was a really, really good run for what was looking so promising for Pipo and Felipe Massa. And on lap 33, as Gaetano Di Mauro now brings the car into the pits, a hive of activity here in pit lane. And that has changed the complexity of Carrera rookie, because it is now the pairing of Mateus Iorio and Jose Muranetto that now take the lead in Carrera rookie. Just over a minute and 45 left to go. Marcel Muller now steps back in for what will be his penultimate stint in the car before handing back over to teammate Gaetano Di Mauro. But what can you say? Heartbreak for Felipe and Pipo Massa, the father-son pairing. Get as far as lap 33 and the car breaks down on them. It's either going to be one of several things. Box full of neutrals, broken gearbox, or maybe drive shaft issue. There's so much torque going through these 4-litre flat 6-boxer engines with 510 brake horsepower, 0 to 62 mph in 3.3 seconds. Can hit a top speed of just under 270 kilometers an hour. Felipe's got the hazards on. Now, has he been able to... yeah, Felipe's getting out the car. That's a shame. That's a real shame. I was looking forward to seeing how the father-son duo would get on. Sunshine bathes the pit lane. Right, the rescue pickup is with Victor Thierry. Felipe Massa now walks away. That is a real shame. That car just lost drive at the top of the hill at the crest. He had to pull it off to the side of the track. So Mateus Machado hands back over to the tall statuesque, Mr. Silvio Monestroni in the number 2 car. Now, hang on a second. I'm just trying to keep an eye on right. So on the live timing, it is Israel Salmen in the number 51 car, partnering with Gustavo Zanon. They look to. I'm just having a look here. They come. Well, there's no sector time registering for sector 1. There's a time registering for sector 2. Okay. So we are fast approaching halfway through the 2.5-hour window. Currently with 30 laps to go. 65 laps equaling 300 kilometers. There's the number 27 car, the pairing of Sergio Ramalho and Josimar Jr. Josimar Jr. also having dramas last week, having in the first lap melee in race 2 for Carrera Cup. He ended up being speared around heading into turn 3 on the opening lap. In the meantime, Dylan Pereira is absolutely flying at the moment. And he's got that car up to 7th overall. And he's the fastest driver out there. Lap 21, the man from, well, Luxembourg via way of Portugal. Portuguese descent, obviously with a surname. Dylan is, you know, something if you add a little bit of Luxembourg, French-speaking Luxembourg accent. Right, there we go. Mateus Comparato now back behind the wheel of the 118. Good job by Felipe Baptista in the second stint. And Baptista will bring the car home, but how far up the order would he get it is the big question. So the second pit stop window is officially closed. Pit stops are recurring. So now the race continues. Lucas Sales and Miguel Paludo back behind the 70 and the 7, respectively. Roman Zimkiewicz takes over back again from Nelson Piquet Jr. And again, this long game strategy employed by Gaetano Di Mauro and Marcel Müller really paying dividends at the moment. And of course, this car has the fastest lap in the class, 1:47.525. Fastest lap overall on lap 21 still for the number 25 car. That is Carrera rookie, and that is Dylan Pereira. Engine fired up on 544 Fabian Patras car as Marcel Müller gets ready, and on the throttle he goes. Boxer engine, the 4-litre water-cooled flat-6 Boxer engine producing 510 brake horsepower, propels the man forward. So as you just saw on the top of your screens, here we go. Right, car 118, Matheus Comparato on the boost coming down out of Galp at turn number 15. And Lucas de Grassi has helped himself and Werner Neugebauer to get up to effectively what will now be P9, but that could be P10 very shortly because of Matheus Comparato. Bearing in mind that 6 minutes in the pits is quite a long time. Eric Santos back behind the wheel of the number 38 car, taking over back from Gabriel Rowe. Car 38 now just outside of the top 20. So, one of the interesting things as we're now seeing, that's one place you do not want to go side by side at, as that is the number 99. Antonella Bassani gets the fright from Marcel Müller, and that was coming through at turn 9. Craig Jones heading up into Portimão at turns 10 and 11. And then Pereira now hands over the car to Paulo Souza in the 25. And Miguel Mariotti will be... Oh, here we go. Antonella Bassani tries to get a little bit of boost, but there's been a drama at the top of the hill. Car 11 and car 2 involved. Silvio Moristoni and car 11. That's Reales. Oh, look at this. Miguel Paludo was to the inside. And this is what happens. Bang! Straight into the right rear. Turns Silvio Moristoni around, and he's absolutely out of control. Miguel Paludo to the right-hand side. Alceo Felman Neto, and just with cat-like reflexes, the number 11, Paulo Reales, keeps out of the way, but Silvio Moristoni, hopefully there's not too much damage to the right rear of that car. There is to the panels, especially out of the... but I'm wondering if race control might take a look at that, because I think maybe Miguel Paludo might have been a little bit over-exuberant trying to get through. Of course, yes, it was the fact that he needed to keep the number 8 car behind him. That's Alceo Felman Neto. So Paludo and Felman Neto on battlegrounds for P6 overall. And it just goes to show you can have all the experience in the world. I mean, when you consider the fact that Miguel Paludo's had over 43 race wins in this series. One of the most successful drivers in the series history for that has been over the duration. And we got a safety car. We have got our first safety car intervention. And the contact between Miguel Paludo and Silvio Morestroni is under investigation by race control. So the Mobil 1 Porsche 718 Cayman safety car has been called. Incident between Paludo and Morestroni now under investigation. And has been confirmed by our race director. And, well, that is also, I think it may be more than likely for the, for number 19 being stuck on the outside of turn 13. But you've also got to consider with Reales in the number 11 car, that was backwards. Or had to avoid, and if Paulo Reales had to avoid and ended up going into the gravel, well, and it gets beached, that's a car that's stuck. You need to extricate that vehicle quickly. So with 29 laps to go, let's give you a rundown of the top 5 or the respective. Let's talk about the field entirely. Marcel Muller and Gaetano Di Mauro lead the field after we're on lap 37. Here's a replay we're going to see very shortly. And, well, it's actually just some of the highlights from earlier on. Wet conditions prompting a safety car start. With after 3 laps, we were underway in racing. And, again, you know, it was a case of Marcel Muller timing the opportunity. This is the first incident, damage to the left rear, and yeah, dramas for Caio Castro and Leonardo Sanchez. Sanchez taking front of the impacts on the right front. And you're seeing the likes of Pedro Boisel, the nephew of Raul Boisel, who's an investor and advisor. Oh, right, okay, so there's a little bit of drama between between the number 19 car that was the car pairing Pipo and Felipe Massa, the father-son pairing. We've seen a lot of action over the course of the past hour and 23 minutes. But it is the 544 Muller and Di Mauro in the Faber Impactors race vehicle that is still leading the way. There's the number 2 car. You would eventually see a little bit later on get tangled up. And here is, oh my goodness, Miguel Mariotti versus Miguel Paludo. And Mariotti at one point was sideways. And again, just showcasing the depth and breadth of the talent that we have here in Porsche Cup Brazil. The first round clearly underway of the 2026 C6 Bank Porsche Endurance Challenge Brazil here at the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve in Portimão, second biggest populated area in the Algarve region. Very much a seafront town, and it's truly you know, brings a. Now this is the incident we're going to see here. It's slow, and it's just bumping over the curbs. Paludo bangs into the right rear. Morestroni is a passenger. And then there's a little bit of a drama there for Reales, who ends up going into the gravel. So the safety car is still out. It has neutralised the race. And so up to Antonella Bassani in 20th position in the number 99 D4U car. They are all on the lead lap. And of course, talking about other Brazilian motorsport drivers, Pipo Derani is finally competing on home soil at Interlagos in the FIA World Endurance this weekend. Congratulations to him. Another great Brazilian talent. But look at this. The safety car is peeling away. Watch out for Commentator. He cannot use the boost when we go back to green flag racing. And here we go. It's time to get the hammers down. It's Müller versus Commentator. They go early. And lap 38 out of 65, we go back to green. Here at Portimão, and Marcel Müller stretches the legs on the 544. Comes across the line with a 3.5 of a second advantage over Matheus Commentator, the young man in the 118, normally running in Formula 4 Brazil. As that got very close indeed with car 70, Casales. And I think in amidst all the melee that's happening at the moment, you've got the likes of, well, Werner Neugebauer has rejoined in 22nd position. He's been overtaken by Bruno Bonifacio. And look at this. Oh my goodness. Challenging Carrera, roaring down the hill into Torre Vip here at turn number 5. And there's a drama. That is car 91. Smoke billowing from the front of it. Looks like coolant damage. And car 23, Leonardo Hermann, is also off. Oh dear, they do say that safety cars breed safety cars, and the opening lap after the restart has caused a little bit of pandemonium. Alceu Felmanito, and here we go. This is what happens. Oh well, 23 just rotated on its own, and Antonella Bassani just got out of the way just in time. Cat-like reflexes for the number 99. And oh well, it's that's dumping coolant. That is the number 91. That's Dilson Perez Jr. Coolant dripping from the left side of the car coming through out of turn 2. And that is a car that is, I think he's quite fortunate he stopped that car, mainly because of the fact it was dropping coolant like nobody's business, and that could terminally overheat and blow all the seals on that engine. But well played by Dilson Perez Jr. to get the car out of harm's way, get out of everybody else's way, but the car nearly hit the barriers off of turn 3 at Lagos. There are your race leaders. So let's see. Another replay. Yeah, I mean, the thing was, there wasn't enough room for Leonardo Hermann to make the move. And just rotated on his own. And Antonella Bassani quickly put the left hand down. Oh yeah, you can see absolutely dripping coolant like nobody's business. And then, yeah, splitter falls off. Steam coming from the front bumper of the number 91. There is another car in the pits. That is Jose Muranetto. Now, could that possibly explain? Not 100% sure. They're looking at the right rear wheel. So Jose Muranetto has also come into drama as well and was leading Carrera rookie. Meantime, Peludo versus Felmanito. Up the hill they go. It's going to be down a dip. Now this is the battle for P5 overall. And Miguel Maliotti in the number 21 car now drops down to 7th position overall. Now, no news yet as to what is going to happen. And here is Dilson Perez Jr. off of turn 3. Just... that car has lost its front splitter, so damage has been done to the front of the car. He's probably going to keep an eye on those engine temps. There was steam billowing as the number 37 car, piloted by the returning so car 37, Werner Neugebauer, running with Rafa Racing Club in GT4 America this year. Part of the support series for GT World Challenge Americas, powered by AWS. Felmanito trying to get away from Miguel Peludo. So the next time the pit stop window opens will be after lap 48. So you're currently on lap 41 out of 48. So after this, 7 laps to go. Fastest lap overall of this race, Dylan Pereira, lap 21, 1 minute 47.026. Marcel Muller now starting to open up a lead over the battling duo on your screens at the minute. Well, no, that's a little bit further back. It's the battle for P5 and P6 between Alceo Feldmanento, the son of Alceo Feldman, who raced in Stock Car Pro for many years. Here's just a quick update with 25 laps to go. Dimaro and Muller leading the way overall. And then in Carrera Sport, it's car 14, Vivacqua and Campos. Bizani and Guerra lead in Carrera Rookie. And we head a little bit further back down the order. It's going to be Pedrosa and Landi leading in Challenge Rookie. Okay, drive-through penalty, Miguel Paludo. And that is for the incident with Silvio Monostroni. So, unfortunately, that is going to take Miguel Paludo and the 2026 Carrera Cup Brazil champion, Alan Hellmeister, out of the running for an overall top 5 finish. So, not at all surprised. As all, that is drama. Enrico Pedrosa is around in the 78 car. No, Luis Landi. And that has now given the lead to the pairing of Victor Mahler and Vitor Ramazauskas. It's down the hill. Here comes car 80 on car 38. Eric Santos and Roman Zimkovic. Santos's battle is not with him, so we'll let him go. There you go, confirmed by the race director, Miguel Paludo. Now has to serve a drive-through penalty. As we are getting closer and closer, we are now north of 90 minutes of racing concluded. Out of the 2.5 hours or 300 kilometers of racing, 65 laps. If we hit that first, that is it. Race is over. Okay, let's have a look at this. Another replay here. Now, this is another car. Oh, that is struggling with drive, and that is coming through out of turn number 13 and nearly gets hit by, I think, the 222 there. Aldo Umbellino, but that is a real shame there for the pairing of Enrico Pedrosa with Luis Landi behind the wheel of that car. Another car that might have a gearbox issue or a driveline issue that has put paid, unfortunately, to what was a good run and has taken off the lead from Challenge Rookie. But the pairing of Marcel Muller, Gaetano Di Mauro continue to lead the way. This shows how dominant the Fabian Patras team were last year, with Marcel Muller being partnered with two-time Stock Car Pro Series champion Felipe Fraga, who I had the latter who I had the wonderful opportunity to meet at the Team WRT Hospitality Villa at the top of Eau Rouge. He was competing in that year's CrowdStrike 24 hours. Felipe, wonderful guy, absolutely brilliant individual. But here we see another battle. This is Carlos Campos versus Lineo Perez. Now, interesting development here. Marcos Reguedas is in front of Mateus Comparato. So there has been a development. Comparato's last lap time was a 1:44.49.932, as we see clear skies here in the Algarve, to the point where there is a little bit of lighter cloud cover up ahead. But the pairing of Reguedas and Drugovic, they've been like the silent assassin in this one. So Marcos Reguedas, not afraid to get his elbows out, is going to go hunting. And Marcel Muller is the target in front of him right now. So when we hit 17 laps to go here in this first round of 3 for the C6 Bank Porsche Endurance Challenge Brasil here in 2026. It's going to be an interesting one, what will happen at the midway point. but it has been riveting thus far. As we ride on board with Marcel Müller, man who's now, at this moment in time, currently leading. He's currently leading the Carrera Cup classification. Lucas Salles, who currently runs in P4 on 135 points. Antonella Bassani, just 2 points behind going into the next round of the season. Of course, Jeff Giassi, Miguel Paluda around at the over and top 5. Also, Miguel Mariotti had the Driver of the Weekend award provided, taking home 43 points in what has been his best run of the season so far. Really looking forward to seeing how he gets on with the rest of the year. But still, the counter ticks down in terms of laps. Plenty of racing left. So, in terms of the thing is there are 2 stages, and Luis Landi and Enrico Pedrosa were the winners in terms of the Challenge Sport and Rookie side of things. That's according to the Instagram feed that I'm seeing. All right, here we go. First team to, okay, Garfinkel and Thierry, car 10. Additional 3 seconds added to their pit stop time for the next pit stop for exceeding track limits, and that is having exceeded it more than 5 times. So that's the first one. They'll get another 3 seconds added for another infraction. So we're coming up to 3 laps to go. There you have it confirmed by race direction. Oh no! That is a big off, and that is for car 80, the pairing of Zimkiewicz and Piquet Jr. And that is coming up the hill off of Craig Jones at turn 9 into Portimão. That could bring out another safety car. We've already had 1 intervention. Oh dear. Now what on earth has happened there? You can see the markings of the Michelin stickers on the side of the sidewall. Not on there. Okay, here comes the replay. Oh, it just loses it, and the right rear is flat as a pancake. Oh dear. And that's with 20 laps to go. And we have got another safety car. Ah, I knew it. Now, the funny thing is that with regards to this, that is going to help Marcus Regedas and Felipe Drugovic. Now, making sure that he becomes the highest placed Formula E driver. I mean, now we've lost, I mean, when you think about it, yeah, it looks like Dilson Perez Jr. has brought the number 91 car in. So there is the Porsche, there's the safety car for the series. Porsche 718, ready to pick up our race leaders. Next time around, it will be 1 lap before we go back in for pit stops. Now, it can be decided if, and I've seen this before with Stock Car Pro Series, that sometimes race control might decide to extend the pit stop window or delay it. Now, because it's 8 minutes, there's a safety car. Oh dear, right, car 17, Marcos Reguedas, has been given an additional 5 seconds on the next pit stop for... Oh, I think that means that that basically might mean overtaking under yellow flag conditions. Yep, so overtaking under yellow flags is a big, big no-no, and that car's going to get an additional 5 seconds added to its next pit stop. Slap on the wrist for Marcos Reguedas, I'm afraid. So we're about to hit our final pit stop window number 3 of the race. And we're under our safety car, second safety car intervention after a big moment. There is the number 80 car. That is game over for Roman Zimkovic and Nelson Piquet Jr. Right rear tyre came off of the rim when Zimkovic was sideways, and I think probably may have carried a bit too much speed. I don't know if we're going to see another angle of when that car came up the hill through the compression zone up through turn 9 at Craig Jones. That is not what you want to see happen there. So at the moment, leading respective classes, Marcel Muller leads in Carrera Sport. It's Israel Salman with Gustavo Zanon. In Carrera Rookie, it's Wagner Pontes and Antonella Bassani, who now have moved up to 11th position. You have to go all the way down to challenge. It is going to be Tottieri and Scarfinkel lead that class ahead of the car 66 Saraglecha and Fabio Carbone leading that with pairing of Victor Mahler and Vitor Ramazauskas in the 311. They lead Challenge Rookie. You see on the left-hand side of your screens, those are the current pairings that lead in all 3 classes for Carrera. Carrera overall, Sport and Rookie. And with this being under safety car conditions, 1 hour and 44 minutes have elapsed. And so the next time Marcel Muller crosses the line, the pit stop window will officially open. I've had no notification from race control as to whether that is going to be amended or delayed. I don't think it will be at this point. So the field concertinaing up. Looks like we will have a possibility that these drivers will have to decide when they pull the trigger and end up in the pit lane. They've still got to serve their maximum pit stop times. So let's see what happens. The field bunches up as we go back to green. It is going to be Marcel Muller that's going to lead us across the line. He's bolted already. He's left Regeras standing in his dust. Comparato to the outside. Regeras dives into pit lane as we will go back to green flags with 17 laps remaining. And look at the amount of drivers that it's like it's like a traffic jam on the M25 on a Friday night driving home. Oh my goodness. Janela aberta, pit lane open, and look at the madness here in the pit lane in Portimão. Oh my goodness me. And this is where they've got to be very careful. It's like directing traffic. Oh my goodness me. And they've still got to serve their minimal pit stop times. All I can say about this is, mamma mia, that was a lot of activity there. There's a car that's overshot its marks, car 33. So Bruno Bonifacio hands over for one final time to his teammate in car 39, Luis Souza. And again, the madness starts to kick on off here. These teams are going to be so careful. And look at this. Right. Ajax being engaged. Now Marcel Muller, he went long on his when he jumps into the pit lane on the first pit stop window. He's coming in now with just under 6 minutes to go. That's going to now put Matheus Comparato into the race lead. It's going to promote Antonella Bassani into P2. It looks like car 37, Werner Neugebauer, is going to really extend this final pit stop window. Saying to Marcel Muller, yep, a little bit of right hand down, get us on that angle. Marcel Muller now will hand over for the final time to Gaetano Di Mauro. What a partnership this has been in this opening round of the C6 Bank Porsche Endurance Challenge Brasil for 2026 here at the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve. But at the meantime, we are back under green flag racing conditions with this, including this lap. It's 16 to go. And Matheus Comparato on the boost in the 118 Shell V power entry. He leads overall ahead of Antonella Bassani. You can see the bonnet going up on car 7. So Alan Hellmeister will take over for the final stint from Miguel Paludo. Oh dear, and right. Next pit stop. As there we see Gaetano Di Mauro having a quick chat with Cris Diaz before he gets behind the wheel for the final time. Right. Overtaking under yellow flags, a 5-second time penalty going to that car there that is now leading on its next pit stop. So that car, is it going to head into pit lane now? The answer is yes. That's tight to the apex and on the exit. And Antonella Bassani will now hand over to Wagner Pontes in the number 99 D4U car for the final time. There you see the confirmation of the 5-second additional time penalty for the next pit stop as they are refueling the 544. So an additional to 6 minutes. That's going to be 6 minutes and 5 seconds from pit lane entry to pit lane exit for the 118. Felipe Drugovic now behind the wheel of the number 17 car brought in by Marcos Regeras. But still, with 15 laps to go until the checkered flag here at the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve. Right, Felipe Baptista now ready to get in behind the wheel of the 118 car. Just under 3 minutes to go until this final pit stop window is closed, and then that is it. It is a sprint to the finish. Here at Portimão, Werner Neugebauer and Silvio Morestroni are still out. Brand new Michelin tyres going on for Gaetano Di Mauro. Still the fastest lap of the race on lap 21, Dylan Pereira, who will be taking over from Paulo Sousa in the number 25 car in the very short future, just in front of us. That car now up to 19th overall. Haven't got long until 6 minutes has been affected. Let's not forget that for Felipe Baptista, an additional 5 seconds has to be served by that car in the pit lane. Talking up the centre locking nuts on the 544 Fabian Petra's car, Gaetano Di Mauro, and now the frenzy starts. A lot of teams. So Drugovic back behind the wheel of the 17. Oh, bit of a close moment there. I think that was car 22. Oh, Castro handing over to Danilo Dirani. But the pit stop window closes officially in just over 75 seconds time. Neugebauer and Morestroni. Let's see. Well, looks like car 37 coming in this time. The 37 and the 2 just coming through the final sector. It's all for themselves now. Sergio Ramalho elbowing his way past Tiago Vivaca in the car in the number 14. And car 17 with Rafael Suzuki behind the wheel. Rafael Casagrange. Oh my goodness me, it's a bit like, oh, hang on a second, let's put a bit of Formula E, Stock Car Pro, throw it all in to this big smorgasbord melting pot. So Werner Neugebauer pits, so does Silvio Morestroni, so Lucas de Grassi and Mateus Machado will take those cars to the checkered flag. The timer at the moment is showing 1 hour and coming up to 1 hour and 53 minutes. So still 37 minutes of the allotted 2.5 hours maximum time allowed. Oh! No. I cannot believe that. Gaetano Di Mauro exiting pit lane. I think that was car 2 trying to come out as well. And that is car featuring Silvio Morestroni. Let's have a look here. So the thing is, Muller. It was the. Don't tell me it was car 37. The car came forward as Werner Neugebauer positioned the vehicle in, and Gaetano Di Mauro. Well, I have to feel for Gaetano Di Mauro because he was on the rough end of the stick on that one. But then you also had car 2 that had to try and avoid the front bumper, and that was Silvio Morestroni, who was trying to get out of the way of Werner Neugebauer. But now with 14 laps to go, all pit stop windows are officially closed. Here goes Gabriel Casagrange to the outside in the number 8 Lightning McQueen car. Can he get the job done on Rafael Suzuki? Yes, he can. That's beautiful from the 3-time Stock Car Pro Series champion from Matthias Vogel. Now, that just goes to show how quickly things can change. Gabriel Casagrange, he is a very, very experienced individual when it comes to restarting races, but also having that spatial awareness to get through. Frank Shear, why isn't the lap table with the times displayed all the time? Unfortunately, that's not down to myself or my colleague Nicholas, who is helping with regards to the stream behind the scenes. It's always whatever we see is what you folks see here as well, I'm afraid. But we are getting down to the nitty-gritty, sunshine bathing the Algarve Circuit. Marcos Regadas currently in conversation in the pit lane with Cris. He seems to be very, very happy. Both him and Felipe Drugovich really looking rather racy in the number 17 car. In Finiox Segadora car, really running well, as Tiago Vivacqua has just lost out a position to, I think that is car 27, the pairing of Josimar Julia and Sergio Ramalho. Ramalho gets through, and they have got car 118 in front, Felipe Baptista. Oh dear, this is all I can say here. Rafael Suzuki on the boost. He's got to the outside of Gabriel Casagrange, going down into Torre Vip at turn 5. Casagrange is going to try and get through on Felipe Baptista. He's gone and, he's run paint. Suzuki's going to make it 3 wide into the right-hander. Oh my goodness, so Felipe Baptista gets squeezed. Casagrange to the outside. Suzuki is going to get through. He's done a number on his stock car rivals in that one. Rafael Suzuki, a man who's changed from many teams, from the likes of Full Time Sports to TMG to Pole Motorsport over the years, and still he has the nous, the grey matter up top to get through on drivers that have had some success in their own way. So look at this. Baptista trying to lead on Casagrange. Suzuki to the inside at turn 7, and it was a hip check. Baptista into the side of Casagrange, puts the 3-time Stock Car Pro Series champion to the outside, coming through turn 8 at Samsung, and Casagrange quite literally having no answer as their line is turned up the hill through Craig Jones at turn 9. But that was beautifully timed there by Rafael Suzuki. There's still plenty of racing to go here, folks, and I cannot believe what we've just witnessed. We have just witnessed one of the trademark signs that when you've got Porsche in town with Porsche Cup Brasil, and it's the endurance races, you've got to wait until we go to Interlagos for the 177 lapper at Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, November 28th this year, because that, and I can testify because I was in the booth with good colleague and a regular voice on this channel, Jake Sanson. We had a lot of fun last time out last November, but I think that Casagrange has got the fire lit in the belly as the 3-time Stock Car Pro Series champion. As right, okay, so right, so now Pigrassi and Machado have taken over cars 37 and 2. Oh no! Felipe Drugovich into the left rear quarter panel of Gabriel Casagrange, spins the number 8 around. Oh dear, as if that's insult to injury for the 3-time Stock Car Pro Series champion. And Felipe Drugovich, let's just have a look at the replay. It's going into turn number 13. He dives straight to the inside and bang! Oh, up on 2 wheels and spins around. And that's the result of the contact. It was quite a hard hit from Felipe Drugovich to the left-hand side of Gabriel Casagrange. As Felipe Baptista gets through on Beto Gresse, who has partnered this weekend with Linneo Pires in the Triple Eight Mappe Evora car. Distinctive red, purple and green livery. So no surprise here, race direction signalling on the live timing that the incident between car 17 and car 8 now under investigation. And looks like they're taking a look at the right front. Felipe Drugovic has brought the car in. I think that damaged the right front steering. That wheel was turning out, and I think that is game over. That's a real shame after such great work by Marcos Regueras in the wet in the opening stint. But Felipe Drugovic, it's nice to see him back in competitive racing, obviously, with Formula E for this season. But that's a real shame. It's, you know, I think from that perspective, Gabriel Casagrange was closing the door and had the opportunity to close up the racing line. As here we go, Gustavo Zaron now going to find to his outside. Gaetano Di Mauro leading the way. 12 laps to go. This 4.684 kilometre circuit. And through at Primera, that's a change for the race lead. Lucas Di Grassi has been joined in what will now become 19th position. He's got behind him quite a few cars that are battling over real estate, and includes the number 14 car, Tiago Vivacqua. That car's currently P4. Sergio Ramalho in the 27 car is currently... Well, look at this. This is how close the race is getting, because Sergio Ramalho last time around was 3 seconds behind Gaetano Di Mauro. And there he is. He's got Tiago Vivacqua, Rafael Suzuki, Felipe Baptista, then a further 1.2 seconds back, rounding out the top 7. That is Beto Gresse. So we could have a really good dynamite finish to the end of this opening round of the C6 Bank Porsche Endurance Challenge Brasil here at Portimão for round 1 out of 3 for 2026. But since having got past Gustavo Zanon, Gaetano Di Mauro is pulling away. I think at this point, if I was Gaetano Di Mauro right now, if there's boost activations, use as many as humanly possible before the end of the race. So 11 laps to go after this one, as Gaetano Di Mauro comes through Galp. You're on what will be lap 54 out of 65. And I'm wondering how far Dylan Pereira is going to find his way up the order, because look at, right, P11, the battle between Bruno Campos, Guerra, Matteo Sirorio and Dylan Pereira. Pereira on lap 53 is the only driver so far this race that has gone underneath a 1 minute 47, 1:46.844 by the man from Luxembourg. 2022 Mobil 1 Super Cup and 2025 Carrera Cup Asia champion made a return, as I said earlier on in the broadcast, to the Porsche AR Box Carrera Cup Asia paddock with Phantom Global for the Bangsen Grand Prix. This last year, Bangsen did not bring Dylan Pereira. But a change for position. Sergio Ramalho now gets through. That is for the leading class for Carrera Sport. He's got through Gustavo Zanon. Here comes the hard-charging Tiago Vivacqua. And he's going to dive to the inside here at turn 10 and into 11. And it's going to be a bit of a run deep by Gustavo Zanon. He's going to lose out to Tiago Vivacqua. And round the outside goes Rafael Suzuki. Oh, and a lock-up of brakes. Oh, on the right front, puncture, disaster for Gustavo Zanon. Right front puncture for the 51 car. Oh no, they were battling within the top 3 overall. And look at this, Rafael Suzuki to the outside and locks up. Bang, the tyre goes. It just lets go on the 51. So Gustavo Zanon, unfortunately, is going to have to limp that car back to pit lane with just 10 laps to go. Oh, that's probably why there was a little bit of contact. So Rafael Suzuki clumsily hit the right front and it punctured the right front Michelin tyre. So that could be under investigation by race control. And has Rafael Suzuki picked up damage? It's all kicking off in the last 10 laps of this race. So Suzuki might have just picked up damage, I'm afraid. Dylan Pereira now up into 13th position. And it is 1.3 seconds after 55 laps of racing as here goes the move. Up the inside, that is through on Gabriel Rowe. And that is going to be, I think, more than likely one of the Porto liveried cars, possibly. But what can I say? It was a clumsy manoeuvre. We saw by the overhead camera shot, Rafael Suzuki clobbered into with the left side of the car, hit the right front tyre of Gustavo Zanon, and that has now meant that the car has had to end up into pit lane. That's a real shame, because they were running. Israel Salman and Gustavo Zanon really could have helped their campaign in the 2026 C6 Bank Porsche Endurance Challenge Brasil here at Portimão. But at the moment it is Di Mauro versus Ramalho, and it is 5.5 seconds, 9 laps to go. And this pairing has been pretty much so far this race at the sharper end. Dylan Pereira now about to hit the top 10. He's passed Matteo Ciorio and has gone P3. So that is really going to help his case in the number 25 car. The Cargill entry with the white, green and, well, light green and dark green. I don't think Dylan Pereira's done yet. And the reason being is that he could probably get himself at least as high as P8 at the moment. Maybe even. This could be an outside chance here. So what is the gap to number 12 at the moment? Annette de Jong asks in the YouTube chat. Annette, the gap to car 12 is now just over half a second. As Tiago Vivacqua closing in on Sergio Ramalho for second position overall. But more to the point, that is for the class lead in Carrera Sport. Gap between them, it's going to be less than half a second now. They're going to make their way around the circuit. And there you see the drone shot. Well, let's just put it this way. Dylan Pereira is through. Is now officially through. And the gap between him and Bruno Campos, after 57 laps of racing with 8 to go, Dylan Pereira is just over 3/4 of a second behind, as there is car 11. And he's a little bit further down the order, I'm afraid. That is Viales and Alves down in 28th position. And Felipe Baptista is now starting to get an opportunity here. There goes car 20, well, a little bit further back behind. So this is the battle for second, third and fourth overall. Ramalho versus Vivacqua versus Baptista. Marcos Gomez in the number 31 car is about 2.5 seconds back. As there goes Felipe Baptista through on Tiago Vivacqua. They go down the hill and up it. It's now to turn number 12 into turn 13. So very shortly we'll be coming across the line to complete lap number 58. Gaetano Di Mauro continues to lead the way. So 7 laps to go until the checkered flag. David Ulrog now on the flashers. In the 38 car. Trying to chase down Matheus Machado in the number 2 car, rounding out the top 19 side by side. Through at Primera at turn 1. And that was car 33 diving to the inside. Bruno Campos on Martins. And there is Dylan Pereira in the background. And look at the run. Pereira's going to try and make it 3 wide. Oh, he gets cut off by Bruno Campos. You do not, I'm sorry, Bruno Campos, you do not cut off the nose of a Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup and Carrera Cup champion. And Dylan Pereira is pushing along Bruno Campos to the outside at turn 7. He goes round the outside of Martins. And still, at this moment, the battle for the class lead in Carrera Rookie is being contested. Bruno Campos in the number 33 Porto machine ahead of the number 25 Cargill entry. And look at this, Dylan Pereira, if you anger the beast inside the man from Luxembourg, you will awaken a monster. And with 6 laps to go, right, let's have a look here. So Bruno Campos dives to the inside at Lagos, late break and then some. And then all of a sudden, Dylan Pereira comes out with a big rate of speed coming out of turn 4. He pulls to the left of Bruno Campos. Campos goes over, clashes with the front bumper of Pereira and stops his advances. And then we have this moment here. Wonderful textbook work by Dylan Pereira. And he's also competed in 6 Carrera Cup Germany. Then through into Samsung. Bruno Campos just parks it on the racing line. And Dylan Pereira's got to wait for his opportunity, but he's still right on the coattails of the number 33. We're going to be tight on time and also laps, but so race control have just provided another message. Now this is in relation to Bruno Campos. So he's been given a warning, but that has not stopped Dylan Pereira, who's through for the class lead. Pereira is now through, up to 8th overall. They've also got past Marcos Gomez. Oh, Gomez is having dramas here. He's dropped behind Bruno Campos and also Dylan Pereira. This is not exactly what Marcos Gomez and Miguel Mariotti would have wanted. Well, Rafael Martins and Miguel Mariotti wanted. There's Gabriel Roll with the number 38 who's engaged the boost coming out of the final corner. 5 laps to go. So warning for Bruno Campos, covering up, well, impeding, I would say, or blocking. As here goes car 12 to the inside, 3 wide at Primera. As car 38 nearly gets a bit of a touch from behind, and that would have been by more likely car 28. Car 21. But, well, now Dylan Pereira. Oh, and there is a 5-second post-race time penalty going to Bruno Campos for the incident involving Rafael Martins. So this is Dylan Pereira on the boost, round the outside of all places. I think that was turn 9. So, talk about unconventional ways of using the boost. Trust Dylan Pereira to find out. That was going through turn 12. but we are edging closer towards 2¼ hours of race time. 4 more laps to go after this one, and I did say that Dylan Pereira might try and get himself into the top 8. He has done. Gaetano Di Mauro has 4 more laps to go. He has a 5.8 second lead over Sergio Ramalho and Josimar Jr. as Marcel Müller, with another one of the Carbon Patras team looking on at the timing screens. That's what I'm seeing at the moment as well. And it's going to show that the pair, you put a Eurofarmer RC racer alongside Marcel Müller, you get a dynamite Endurance Challenge Brazil pairing. Another replay coming up now. This is the moment where race control gave Bruno Campos a warning. He cut across the front and there was a tag because Bruno Campos wanted to cover it off, but Dylan Pereira did not lift. So there was contact between the pair. So Bruno Campos gets a warning for that indiscretion. Dylan Pereira, the only driver in this race that has gone sub 1 minute 47. And bearing in mind, Beto Gresse, who's up the road, has just had time to the tune of, well, it's about 3 seconds now. That is the gap between 7th and 6th position. There's Sergio Ramalho. He's now in front of Felipe Baptista, but dramas for Rafael Suzuki, I'm afraid. Oh dear, that car is parked up. And that might be it for a bit, but turn 5, Baptista to the inside, down the hill. He's going to get the run on Sergio Ramalho and is activating the boost function. So Felipe Baptista now pulls away from Sergio Ramalho, Tiago Vivacqua, Marcos Gomes and Beto Gresse running out the top 6. Dylan Pereira has closed that gap by a big margin. He took 7/10 out of Beto Gresse in the final sector. Replay of what we're going to see here with Rafael. Well, no, this is the move from Felipe Baptista and Sergio Ramalho. This is for 2nd position overall, and straight away Baptista on the boost. And this is what we saw. Oh, left rear. That might be remnants of the contact we saw with car 51 earlier. So left rear suspension broken after boost activation. So that is going to retire the number 70 car, pairing of Lucas Salles and Rafael Suzuki. So it just broke coming down the descent, and as Rafael Suzuki hit the brakes, so there was probably a hairline fracture on the suspension. That caused big dramas. Next time around, it'll be 2 laps to go. You see the gaps expanding. Tiago Vivacqua bringing the number 14 car home and is on course to take the win in the Carrera Sport Division. As more dramas. That's for car 27. Oh no, there's dramas for Ramalho and Josimar Jr. And that car has come to a stop. What's happened here? Oh, it's just understeered off the circuit. Probably left front steering's given up the ghost and called it a day. Ramalho through the gravel. So that promotes Tiago Vivacqua and Carlos Campos to the Carrera Sport lead. That's a real shame. Another of the Carrera Sport teams that has hit drama. Roman Sinkovic and Nelson Piquet Jr. having a drama. 2 laps to go. And that is car 12. And Anguera versus Bruno Campos. And Anguera is through. Use the boost. Coming down the start-finish straight. Dylan Pereira could be very close. Could be on the cusp, but maybe getting into the top 5 by checkered flag. He's got to get through on this car here, 888. Pineo Pires and Beto Gresse, who ran at the top 3 in Carrera Sport. And look at how close Dylan Pereira. He's like a man with a bit between his teeth, and he's got through on the 311. That's Victor Marlet and Vitor Ramazauskas. leading in Challenge Rookie. But I don't think it's over yet in the battle for the overall top 5 finishers. Could Dylan Pereira, the man with such experience and such success within the Porsche Motorsport family, can he really do the business? So, we're on penultima volta, penultimate lap, down through Galp, ultima volta for the pairing of Gaetano Di Mauro and Marcel Müller in the 544 Carbon Petrus Porsche 992.1 car, 4.684 kilometers remaining. Gaetano Di Mauro finished runner-up in the 2025 Stock Car Pro Series Championship last year. Car 10, Garfinkel and Thierry get an additional 3 seconds time penalty post-race for exceeding track limits. And Tiago Vivacqua holding on to the race lead in Carrera Sport. That's car 37 behind. Who's activating boost? That is Lucas Di Grassi, currently sitting 16 overall. P7 in Carrera. Car 23 now gets a 3-second time penalty. And that is Cesar Ramos and Leonardo Herman, currently P4 in Carrera Sport. Track limits being policed. I did say that there would be 5 track limits where they get warnings. Then on number 6 it would be an additional 3 seconds per transgression. But what can you say about this pairing? Felipe Fraga last year on Porsche Endurance Challenge Brasil partnered Marcel Müller, but it's his Eurofarmer RC teammate. He joined forces last year in Stock Car Pro Series in 2025. But when the dust settles here in Portimão, in southern Algarve in Portugal, it is going to be a victory. From pole position, from lights out to checkered flag, 2 safety car interventions, it is going to be muito parabéns. Gaetano Di Mauro brings it home here at the Algarve to win the opening round of the C6 Bank Porsche Endurance Challenge Brazil season for 2026. What a drive, and the team at Carbon Petrus celebrate in the Algarve. I have to say, Marcel Müller's got a wingman there he can count on. Some drag races to the line. But when it was all said and done, someone's lost their front splitter in the melee as well. Further transgressions, car 33. Oh dear, Bruno Campos and it looks like Costa in the number 33 car pick up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, but Gaetano Di Mauro soaking it in. Vencedor, victors here in Portimão. What a way to cap off 3 rounds of the series out of 10 away from home soil. The trip 4 weeks ago to the Circuit de la Sarthe as Gaetano Di Mauro and Marcel Müller pick up the win. This is going to really bolster the championship leader overall. Heading to Interlagos for stage 7 on the 5th and 6th of September when the series resumes. Marcel Müller, all smiles. Number 1, he says. And a big sigh of relief from that man. In Carrera Sport, picking up the victory, it was the number 14 crew of Tiago Vivacqua and Carlos Campos. There is Rafael Suzuki. He always either gets good luck or bad luck. Today, luck was not shining on his side. But coming home in 5th position, Carrera rookie winners, take a bow, Paulo Sousa and Dylan Pereira. They finish overall in the top 5, 5th position, fastest lap on lap 53 of 65. Oh, right, a big development, folks. Breaking news. Car 17, Regadas Drugovic, will get a 10 position grid penalty on the next round will be at Velocita in October for the incident with car number 8. And that was the turnaround. Here it is. It's time to celebrate as Gaetano Di Mauro gets greeted with a smiling Marcel Muller. Chris Diaz ready with the microphone in hand and sunglasses on face because the sunshine is now out. And Carlos Campos greeting Tiago Vivacqua. Great to see this team. We've seen Carlos Campos in action before a couple of years ago, especially with a man called Tony Kanaan. And Tony Kanaan's got a new squad to deal with at Arrow McLaren next year in IndyCar with Scott Dixon and Indy 500 2025 winners, 2026 winner Felix Rosenqvist joining Pato O'Ward. But there you have it, your overall winners for round 1 of this season's opening at round out of 3 for the C6 Bank Porsche Endurance Challenge Brazil. Marcel Muller and Gaetano Di Mauro, the number 11 from Eurofarma RC. For Stock Car Pro, who will be in action again very soon. But I'm sure that Marcel is being very, very complimentary. I mean, Gaetano, one of the young hot shots of Brazilian motorsport. And when he got signed, when news broke at the Toyota GP 100 at Velocita, the home of Acelerados, in 2024. Well, actually, it was 2024 when myself and good friend Carlos Costa were reporting for Motorsport.tv. But you can see what this means. I mean, rainfall at the beginning. We got through it with 5 minutes to spare to the 2.5 hour time limit. Also, other class winners. Well, going to have to look down the order. Sadak Nater and Fabio Carboni will win in Challenge. Garfinkel and Thierry will be the winners in Challenge Sport, being the only ones in the category. But how about this for a story? Victor Mahler and Witold Ramzauskas are the winners in Challenge Rookie. There's the moment where Roman Zinkovic, well, nearly ended up on his lid when the right rear Michelin tyre deflated going through into turn 9 at Craig Jones, beaching his and Nelson Jr.'s efforts into gravel. There we see Stefan Malucelli. Again, there we go, Dylan Pereira in there, joining Paulo Souza, and a lot of discussion. There's the incident that now gives, you can see the right front steering absolutely snapped to pieces, or the steering arm snapped to pieces after the contact with Gabriel Casagrange. So the number 17 car will have a 10-place grid penalty next time out for the second round of Porsche Endurance Challenge Brazil. Very shortly, we'll be getting underway with the podium celebrations before we say Muito Obrigado, Portugal, and then Bom Dia, Interlagos on the 5th and 6th of September when Stage 7 of the championship season gets back underway. So effectively, the main protagonist, there's the moment where Rafael Suzuki collided with the number 51, Gustavo Zanon, puncturing the right front Michelin on the spot. So as the clean-up operation continues, there we go, Stage 1. Here are the results. Winners overall, Gaetano Di Mauro and Marcel Muller winning by 5 seconds after 65 laps ahead of Felipe Baptista and Matheus Comparato. Tiago Vivacqua and Carlos Campos take 3rd overall, and finish ahead of Marcos Gomez and Seba Malucelli. Paulo Sousa and Dylan Pereira take 5th overall and win Carrera Rookie ahead of Linneo Perez and Beto Gresse, Marco Pizzari and Renan Guerra, Paulo Bozel and Rodrigo Melo, Rafael Martins and Miguel Mariotti, and Cesar Ramos and Leonardo Herman running out the top 10. Paludo and Hellmeister 11th, ahead of Neto and Casagrande, Costa and Campos 13th, Iorion Moreneto, Pontes and Bassani rounding out the top 15, Neugebauer and Di Grassi rounding out the top 16 ahead of Santos and Rome. Top 20 finish for my buddy in the number 38 car. Congratulations to them. Moristoni and Machado take 18th ahead of Carboni and Leite, who take the winning challenge. Zanon and Salman, what could have been a top 5 finish, ended up seeing them finish down in 20th position. Sousa and Bonifacio 21st. Mahler and Ramazauskas taking challenge rookie in 22nd. Rauchi and Bernardes in 23rd. Abati and Castellani 24th. Enrique Zumbellino 25th. Josima Jr. and Sergio Ramalho. What a difference it could have been if that car had not had dramas in the latter stage of the race. Ends up classified 27th ahead of Rafa Suzuki and Lucas Sales. Yuri Alves and Paulo Reales 28th. Enrico Pedrosa and Luis Landi. Felipe and Pipo Massa, the father-son duo 30th. Thierry and Garfinkel 31st. Castro and Dirani 32nd. Drugovic and Regadas. Cosi Perez Jr. Zimkovic and Piquet Jr. with Diego Nunes and Leonardo Sanchez, unfortunately classified down in 36th. So more slow-mo highlights from our camera team over at the circuit. But this car was unstoppable. It was like a force to be reckoned with. There we see our first of our top 5. We do things a little bit different here at Porsche Endurance Challenge Brasil. Dylan Pereira and Paulo Sousa, P5 overall. Marcos Gomez and Seba Malucelli hit 4th and 2nd in their category, Carrera Sport. 3rd position will go the way of our Carrera Sport winners, Carlos Campos and Tiago Vivacqua in the number 14. It's the combination of Shell V-Power and Blau Motorsport. It's going to be Mateus Comparato and Felipe Baptista that will take the runners-up step. But your winners. Round 1 in the books for Porsche Endurance Challenge Brasil. The official partner C6 Bank providing support as always. It's the 544 Gaetano Di Mauro from Euro Pharma RC and Marcel Muller. They're your winners for the opening round of the 2026 season. Felipe Baptista wondering whether he needs to throw the cap. He's going to have to wait. Well, he throws it now, as everyone being asked to raise the trophies high for the official podium shots here at the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve. It's been a wonderful 3 race weekends away from South America, but it's time for them to get ready, as here we go. Gaetano Di Mauro puts it, well, it's Marcel Muller that gets pole position in the race with on spraying the champagne first. The first of several podiums we're going to have today. 6 in total, more than likely, maybe 5 at a push, but there we go. It's a welcome relief. It's been a lot of hard graft for these drivers, but this car, the Trojan Tour de Force, the car to beat in Porsche Endurance Challenge Brazil, and this partnership going on from the momentum that both Felipe Fraga and Marcel Muller in the 544 carried on from 2025, considering how much of a struggle they had at the season finale at Interlagos last November at the 500 kilometers race at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. It's a good way to start for Marcel Muller and new Endurance Challenge Brazil teammate Gaetano Di Maro. So it looks like we're going to get underway with our second podium. Going to head to now the Carrera Sport Division. And it's going to be car number 23. Leonardo Herman and Cesar Ramos that will pick up P5. Next up will be the drivers behind the wheel of car 29, the pairing of Rodrigo Melo and Pedro Boisel, the nephew of Raul. They'll take P4. I think we're waiting for them to arrive at the podium so they can be announced. There we go, finally. Boisel, an advisor for F2 driver Enzo Fittipaldi, the grandson of Formula One champion Emerson Fittipaldi. And it's going to be P3 for Linneo Pires and Beto Greci in the Triple 8 car. Marcos Gomez and Seba Malucelli will pick up second. Fourth on the overall podium. But your round one winners in Carrera Sport is the number 14 pairing, Carlos Campos, and the young hard charger, Tiago Vivacqua, hit the top step here in the Algarve. Drivers raising those trophies high with smiles atop the podium. They have definitely they've overdone it there with the spraying of the champagne. They've outdone the overall Carrera podium by a clear country mile. And then next up, we're going to go to our final podium in the Carrera division. It's going to be Carrera Rookie. What was looking pretty promising for the number 19 father and son pairing of Pipo and Felipe Massa. Unfortunately, on lap 33, Felipe would retire the car after it lost all drive coming down the hill out of turn number 11. That car has suffered 2 technical DNS. P5 is going to go the way of Antonella Bassani and Wagner Pontes in the D4U number 99 car. Jose Moreneto and Mateus Irorio will take P4. Then it's car 33, Bruno Campos, joined by Nicolas Costa. They'll round out the third step of the rostrum. And hitting the second step, Marco Pisani and Renan Guedes will take second position. Guerra will take second, but it is going to be the pairing. Paulo Souza employing the efforts of one Dylan Pereira. P5 overall winners in round one for Carrera Rookie. Oh, that's brilliant. Just bowing to the king. With Paulo Souza. Dylan Pereira showcases why he is one of the top talents if you want to recruit someone. Thumbs up from Dylan Pereira. And now it's time for these guys, well, guys and lady, to now get ready to enjoy the champagne. Antonella Bassani wants to drink it. Wagner, oh, there we go. She waits. And then it's the Lando Slam. Paulo Souza gets a douse. He nearly falls off the top step of the podium whilst getting doused by his teammate. Absolutely brilliant. And again, another replay. That car nearly ended up on its roof. Roman Zimkovic is a very, very lucky man after that right rear Michelin deflated. And that was a 540. I think that's something Travis Pastrana would have been proud of, had all 4 tyres stayed on the wagon and the right rear not deflated like a balloon being popped. So next up, we go to the Challenge Division. 5th place goes to the number 11 car, and that is Paulo Reales and Yuri Alves. P4 goes to the, well, that's actually, sorry, my apologies there. That is Carrera Challenge Rookie I'm thinking about. This is actually, I think, the overall Challenge podium, so that means that, looking at it from this perspective, well, we have got these 2 drivers on there. I think we've got Lucas Castellani and his teammate, Rafael Abate, who will be P3. Actually, it's a bit, no, it's I think that is just, I'm just trying to work this all out. It can get a little bit confusing when you have so many podiums to deal with. But still, this is one of the beautiful things. They do it different in Brazil. Top 5. And that is really good to see with all these drivers here with us. 36 cars took the start. 72 fantastic drivers. And you can just see what it means to them when they get on the top of that podium. So from cloudy, wet conditions with the 65 lap race or 300 kilometers here at the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve, starting at the safety car. So after the 2 formation laps, the counter started ticking down. More champagne celebrations. Here we go. Yeah, they can get the race suits dry cleaned ready. They've got 6 weeks until the opening weekend of September. We can't thank you enough for your company here on the Porsche Cup Brazil YouTube channel. It's been absolutely wonderful to see these drivers in action all the way through the weekend. And there we have Cris with the 25 Cargill entry. Paulo Sousa and Dylan Pereira, P5 overall in Carrera, and winners in Carrera Rookie in the number 25. And more to the point, well, that is pretty much us hitting the halfway point of this season, because the second half kick-starts in earnest with flat 6 power propelling it forward. The next round will be stage 7 of the 2026 Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil and Sprint Challenge Brazil that heads to the Autodromo José Carlos Pache at Interlagos in Sao Paulo, 5th and the 6th of September. 3rd of October, we go to the Autodromo de Ayrton Senna in Goiânia on the 3rd of October for round 2 of the Endurance Challenge, and that will be stage 8. The rescheduled stage 3 at Goiânia will take place the weekend after for the penultimate sprint encounter for this season for Carrera Cup and Sprint Challenge on the 10th and 11th of October. The Autodromo José Carlos Pache will host the final round, stage 9, for sprints on the 7th and 8th of November. And then it's always the big finale. Of course, the penultimate weekend, stage 9, will take place at the same weekend as the Brazilian Formula 1 Grand Prix at Interlagos. And then, when it all started on the opening weekend on the 28th of February to the 1st of March, it all concludes on the 28th of November for the 3rd and final round of the C6 Bank Endurance Challenge Brazil and the 2026 C6 Bank Porsche Brazil Cup Brazil season, stage 10, November the 28th. as the drivers have celebrated on the podium. It's time for the summer break here for Porsche Cup Brasil. We will see you on the 5th and the 6th of September once again as we return to Sao Paulo, to Interlagos at the Autodromo José Carlos Pache on the 5th and 6th of September. Thank you so much for your company. Thank you so much for joining us. And my name is Alex Goldschmidt. Until next time, it's obrigado and adeus for now. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.